So, chalo সবাইকে আমার প্রণাম সুমন সবাইকে যারা এসেছে So we had a we were talking via WhatsApp that the main thing is she would like to take a workshop on Tandava and Lasya. So Odissi and Chhau. On this she was doing research for last so many years. So I told her it's a little bit difficult now to get students because after February the festival season is going on. What we were talking also with Suman. So she told, okay, then after February we can do for 2 days, Saturday, Sunday also. At least not a problem, but let's arrange first our interactive session. What they are going to learn, and we will record it and we will give it to Facebook and YouTube channel, so people will understand that what is your research, what you actually would like to teach here. So that's why thanks to Tapati and Tamal. Tamal is eminent theatre critic, theatre director. Tapati is eminent dance critic. So it's going to happen a very good interactive session with Padma Shri Ileana Chitaresti. Okay, so welcome here. It's a very small space. Somehow we have tried to develop it. So this is going to be a third studio series. Okay, Chidakash, because it's very difficult to arrange always. We don't arrange the studio series with the local artists. That is not my aim. First we have started with Geeta Chandranji. Okay, then second we was the Shashadhar Acharya ji and Srinath. Okay, Srinath, and this is the third. Fourth we are planning to do it Madhavi Mukherjee. Okay, already, and fifth we will do with Mysore Nagaraj Rao Kathak, because with Mysore Nagaraj Rao, the Maya Raoji's Kathak, he is preserving. Okay, and the style of the Kathak, how he presents is absolutely very different. Nowadays, we can't able to see that type of Kathak. Now the Kathak chakkar or some ke मामले में फंस गए हैं total. Okay, so this we have planned already up to March. Okay, so March, we will do again 2 series, and Srinath will come again because now the problem will not getting much student. At least we are not able to get 10 students to arrange again the Korea workshop for 15 days. So that is going to happen March or in the April. So today let's start the session. Thank you, Ileana ji. I would like to, just it's a normal formalities. Mind. Okay. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Now it is this is good. Okay. Tapati di always তুমি আমাদের সাথে আসো যখনই ডাকি. Okay.
How many have I collected?
So this time quota for you.
Yeah, but you have given me a quota of this.
Already given?
Yeah. Anyway, I don't mind the second one.
Tamal যখনই ডাকি তখনই Tamal একদম সকাল হোক রাত হোক Tamal দৌড়ে চলে আসে. So let's start the session. Now I will not come, my duty finish.
Where are you going?
Here, I'm sitting.
Well, he has already said the purpose, and we just met accidentally. And we thought that since I was coming to Kolkata in these 2 days, maybe we could talk a little bit about the workshop so that we can, people can be a little more interested in attending it. So why this Lasya Tandava? Just briefly, okay, Odissi, everybody can presume why the Lasya is referring to the Odissi. In my research on the Odisha performing arts form, from the very beginning, I started with these 2 streams, which is One, it is coming from the devotional and all the Jagannath and Vaishnavism, all the symbology and the purpose of Odissi dance, and that is one very strong element of the Odisha culture. But another very strong element, which is a little less known, is the martial art. So it is equally important in the history of Odisha. Of course, the Odissi has been now taken all the merit and all the credit and all the highlight. So many of the forms which are more martial or derived from martial or more masculine have been not so much highlighted, and they are surviving on their own. Some are also not surviving at all. So, so this trend, it is why I became interested in this, is because of my Chhau interest from the very beginning. So my Chhau interest comes from the theatre work which I was doing before coming to India. So my coming to India actually to learn dance, it didn't start from a dance point of view. It started from the theatre point of view. And I was doing physical theatre, which is first I did commedia dell'arte, which is more dialogue, traditional theatre with dialect, so very traditional theatre. But then I just had an experience with Grotowski, Jerzy Grotowski theatre, which it was an important element of change in the West, which happened in the 20th century. Starting from Poland, but then spreading out. And in this theater, the body of the actor became not the acting through the words, not the dialogue, but the body became the important element. And in Grotowski training, a lot of importance has been given also, a lot of inputs also has been taken from the East, so from North theater, from Kathakali, so he involved also many exercises from this kind of, so it was a bridge with the East also. So together with this, parallel to this, I was doing also my study in philosophy psychoanalysis. So my thesis was on Eastern, for psychoanalysis and Eastern mythology to Carl Gustav Jung. So these are two bridges. One, Carl Gustav Jung has bridged the East with the West through the symbology, the study of the subconscious, the symbols of the subconscious, the archetypes, the study of square, circle, triangle, what this does mean in their own culture, and what he analyzes through his psychoanalytical theory. And the other one was this physical approach to theater, where the performance was not the main purpose. The main purpose was this kind of research through the body and to the reaction to certain stimulation, reaction to certain things which will come through improvisation, and then working on that, working with a lot of training. So the performance could come after years of this kind of process. So, and the director is not the person who impose on you anything, but it stimulates you to bring out what you have, which is spontaneous but also trained. So there are certain specific training which are very much not finalized to the performance. So that is a big change. That previously the rehearsal is different from the training. So rehearsal is for finalized to that. So I was coming from this, and what I was searching was an expression through body. So I did a little bit of work with some actor of Grotowski, some actor with Eugenio Barba, which is one of the major students of Grotowski. But still, I realized that I didn't have a grammar. I wanted to, so I was at that point when I came in 1978, in which we were gesticulating, we were reacting, but I realized that we didn't have a proper grammar to follow. So I saw one Kathakali performance in Bergamo, which is my own place among all the places in the world. It's exactly my own place, by Krishna Nambudiri from Sri Krishna Puram in Kerala. he was touring and he was demonstrating just bare body, all these eyes movement and these hand movements and this. So I was, and then also demonstrated some pieces, and I was totally taken back. I said, oh my God, this is what I was searching. And so I went straight to him after the show, and he said, how can one learn all this? And he said, during my tour, other young people, because it was a time in which these things were coming up, so so many young people were searching for this kind of. So so he decided to do a workshop. This is the first workshop which was not existing in Kerala before that. So suddenly, from 1st of April 1978, for 3 months in Kerala, in Sri Krishnapuram, 12 people from Italy, from different parts of Italy, we assembled there. We didn't know each other. So at the end of the 3 months workshop, only 3 of us ended. So all the others left in between, swimming in the river, going. So so 3 of us, and I was one of them. And I did the Purappadu and Nala Damayanti piece of Abhinaya, and I wanted the green patch and everything because I want to experience this. So after
you were in male attire.
Male attire, because otherwise I would not have got all this. No? So so at the end of the piece, I was going to faint. It was in a big in the Krishnanambudiri small place. The entire village came to see us. It was April, May, June, end of June, monsoon. So with the mukuta and all this dresses. So I told Krishnanambudiri, I said, after this expat, it was cathartic. I mean, it was something that I don't think any other program for 40 years that I'm here in India gave me that cathartic experience of that time. So I told him, I can't just go back as if nothing has happened. I mean, I'm totally. So I don't know why he told me Odissi. So at that point he could have told me to go to the moon. I would have gone to the moon. I mean, it was, for me it was everything open. So he told me there is a beautiful style, but he met Sanjukta Panigrahi in Europe, and he liked a lot the style, Odissi style. So he told me about Odissi. So that time it was 3 months, it was over, I had another 3 months on my visa. So I just crossed the land, India, without knowing anything about Orissa. And I went to Sanjunani, and the way I was with my dhoti folded like this, ready to stand my feet in the Katakali position. And suddenly I had to stamp it in another language. And so I came to know much later that I was her first student, because she was a very great already performing artist. She was not a teacher, but she accepted me, and whatever it is, the 2 months I stayed, I learned a little bit. And but I was still very much in love with Kerala. Kerala had given me a lot of. So I went back. And I choreographed, I did a play in which I utilized little bit those movements which I learned from Kathakali a little bit from. But after 6 months I realized that no, if I want to continue to utilize these movements for my theatre, I'll have to learn more. So I thought, okay, I'll go for 1 year and 6 months in Kerala and 6 months in Odisha. This is my plan. This was my plan. So I came in 79. This time Kerala Nambudiri told me that we are out of station, so you go straight to Orissa for 6 months and then come to us. So before leaving the previous year, one student was coming to Sanjunani's house, and Sanjunani, of course, she didn't have the time also to teach, and not the patience also to teach. So I was a little bit, so she told me, why you are learning from her? Her guru is staying there in Cuttack. And so she gave me a piece of paper with a long name that I couldn't even pronounce. So I folded the paper. That time I have not met him. So this time, when I came in 79, 1st of June, I went straight to him, without any introduction, from the Bhubaneswar to Cuttack rickshaw wala. So I asked the rickshaw fellow, please bring me to this gentleman. So without speaking English much, without Oriya, so I don't know how. But so I went there with all my curling hair open and my banyan, and so I was very hippie. So, and Guru Ma, when she saw me, she was, Ma Chandi, So, but Guruji was a little more. Guruji was a little more exposed to the world, so keep it in mind. So I started with him. So that 6 months became 6 years. I never went back to Italy, even for a day.
Then your passport.
No passport, our visa, it kept on being renewed. The visa was supposed to be for 6 months, it got renewed every year for study visa. I don't know how, because it's not possible. But so for 6 years I never went back. And everything disappeared. Katakali, Italy, theater, everything. So, but one thing is that quite soon, it was June 79, in August, Guruji was going to Delhi. So I followed him. He was doing a workshop in Madhavi School, Nava Mahavidyalaya. So while I was attending this workshop, I just entered into the Bharatiya Kalakendra. And the first room where I entered, there was this a lady, not even boy, a lady who was doing this beautiful movement of a bird. And an old man was sitting with a big drum and he was playing. The entire body was depicting the bird. It was a Jatayu Maya. So, peace. At that time I didn't know. So I was stunned. I said, my God, this is beautiful, this movement. And so I asked, and this Krishna Chandra Naik was the very outstanding Chhau teacher, was there in Bharatiya Kalakendra. So he told me, this is a style from Odisha, Chhau. I said, oh, then it's a destiny. I was going to come back to Odisha with Guruji, so I thought this. So there it is, again, accidentally, in a sense that if I had not gone probably in that room, probably I would not have known at that point about Chhau. So, and since my work and my research was with the body, with the full body expression, full body. So immediately I thought this is a beautiful style. So then when I came back to Orissa, then Sri Hari Naik was there, my guru. That Krishna Chandra Naik suggested me to go to him. But in the college he was teaching, then it was already September, so then I had to wait for the next July session. So I learned from him a little bit and enrolled myself directly on the third year, the next year of the Chhau course, which is 6-year course. So this is how, so it is a long story, but I have reached now. So the Chhau, it went on and it didn't create any friction, apart from the fact that Guruji was not so happy about that. Because there are certain things, according to me, complementary. These two forms are complementary to each other. They are not from the same soil and from the same body posture. So if we have the Tribangi for the Chhau, which is naturally quite feminine in all whatever you can do out of it. So if you just open up, and this is the sword and this is the shield. So I just open up this and the body became. So from here, the torso, which from here in the Chhau become like this. And the Odissi. So this is the feminine and this is the masculine. This is the lassi and this is the tamal. So just one minute you can show it. So these two forms, according to, but it is in the training process during the years of, so I had to be consciously keeping them separate in the training process. So, and Guruji was always there with a stick, so that things which he was, and as soon as a little bit of, see, if you do the Odissi, suppose you are having the entry of the Odissi 1, I'm showing you the profile. And you get the choke, becomes different. It becomes, something which is spoiled. So this one and this one are two things which are to be used for their own purposes. So naturally, if the same body is trained in both and becomes very agile, because the chow gives you a lot of agility of the body, a lot of looseness, whereas in the Odissi is a control. So if you do too much, it is too much, and it gives actually the control of each part. Odissi has its own control, of course, but it's more expanded. So the chow. So I had to, and he was so I had to, but I had to keep the Odissi, and whenever he was not around, so I had to go to the chow. But I continued, and finally I remember when the first time he saw my Shiva Kandala, for which I became famous. It was in this one of the festival, their local festival, in which he was also performing, and I did the Shiva Dhamma. He was very happy. So this is the so out of the chow. At a certain point, I started to think. I mean, there was this different theories about from where the chow comes, and the major one it is that is coming from the martial art. But where is the martial art? I mean, I wanted to find out what are the passages from the martial art to this chow, which is a codified, highly codified form. I mean, it is not yet classified, it is a classical, because we really don't care about this, who is classifying and who is folk and who is classical. It's just a headache, because the type of things which I'm seeing nowadays in what we call folk are so outstanding that I don't know how we keep them apart.
Yes.
So it's incredible what they're doing. So I wanted to know how it became and where are these martial arts. So I got this possibility to study the paiko. I went to the villages to find out how much of this paiko was still surviving. And it is made, so these paiko are very important. The martial, I started from the beginning. Why this martial thread in Orissa culture is important? Because it is equally important, not only the devotional, spiritual, but also the defense of the different kingdom, the different, which were there in the, it was, before unifying, it was made of all these Raja, which had their own small state, which they were supposed to defend from the neighboring, from the assault and all this thing. So all these militia, the Paiko, the Padatik, comes from Padatik, is the foot soldiers. So all these foot soldiers were the major part of the militia, of the army, and they had to remain fit for the battle. So during the peacetime, when there was no battle, they had to develop certain technique and certain exercise to maintain themselves physically fit. So these were the Paiko dance, and Paiko martial art means when I went to research, I researched mainly in the colder area, but there are Paiko everywhere where these small feudal kings were there.
Actually they were most tribe-based.
Tribe-based, but these people they were mostly agriculturists because they were giving some piece of land to cultivate in exchange with the service which they are doing before that. So they were agriculture, so they were practicing also not in December when the harvesting is there. I mean, according to the seasonal of the agricultural season. But they had to develop certain and attack and defense. This Rukmar, Parikhanda, all these are the different stages where from just the skill training, the skill exercise, the fit to maintain themselves fit. From there, the first coordinating movements with duet, 3 people, circle. So how to use the stick, how many numbers of things you give, that is they call ghar. So 2 ghar, 3 ghar, 4 ghar, 4 and then 5 and then, so you have to become very alert of where he will attack you and how to defend. So this was an exercise of concentration, alertness, agility. So they had somersault, they had the basic chari, then ulti. So the danda was a basic exercise. So danda they have, I collected 24 type of danda. So, but I realized that their knowledge at that point when I started to do the research was scattered. So some ustad knew some of them, some other ustad remember some of other. So what I did at that point, it was to suggest to the government to open a Paik Academy. So that time Biju Patnaik was there, very open-minded chief minister. So immediately, very effective. So he accepted the idea. We opened for 2 years, and I had the opportunity to do certain seminars, certain workshop, inviting all the ustad which were still alive at that time. I'm talking about 1991. So and prepare a syllabus. So that's why now I have a list of how many the aerial exercise, how many of bhumi exercise, how many of khela they were doing, how many chali names. So all this I prepare. Unfortunately, that things went closed down after 2 years. Now I don't know, the present government wants to reopen something, but by now most of the ustad have gone, and I think the situation will be very pathetic whenever they would like to open now the academy. So anyway, so from there, so when I approached these people, they were so old men, very skinny, but fiber. Man, you could see in their body that immediately drum will, dola will play, and immediately so they will jump up. It was incredible. Sand, heat, in the body, there was no, for them it was such a joy to get back to show these things. They had it in the blood. So I really was so taken by this kind of enthusiasm which I got, and I always wanted to do something for them. So that's why those two that I was very happy that things happened. And one small documentary is there also by UGC. I could get from Kolkata, the team came, and so then still from there, then I got the second phase also from the Paiko to the Parikhanda, which is a small item which is in Jandia, is one place which is in between Saraikela and Mayurbanj. So there I invited these people. There is only one group which is done the Parikhanda. So Parikhanda is a sort of a second phase because it's already a choreographed piece, very simple with tala variation, almost nothing. The tala is still stimulated, just to give force to the dancer. The rhythm increases, but it doesn't change the pattern. So, and this is a warrior dance. It has a climax at the end. So it is already a second phase between the. Then we have to go to the Chhau. But before coming to the Chhau, which we see now, with the mythological theme and some melodic patterns, rhythm patterns. Before that, we have to get to the war dance. So the war dance was the first, at the beginning the Chhau was not so developed. It was just duets or solo, and it was this kind of, and this particular war dance which was presented in 1912 to the emperor. 1912 in Calcutta. To the emperor, visiting emperor 5th or 6th, I don't know, Georg 5th or 6th. So when he came, and in the newspaper of that period, it was called the Paiko Nacha from Odisha. It was not Chhau Nacha. And the Ramkrishna Banji Deo was the king in Mayurbanji. He had himself not train the ustad, but gave his supervision to this war dance, and it was done by 64 dancers, 32 and 32, two team.
Where was it performed?
In Calcutta, they don't
I
say
think
where.
Jagdish Chandra Bose's house.
House. I mean, it must
House
have been a
means
big,
his house, as you think, is not a.
big
Yes.
Maybe it is not
Yes.
mentioned where actually. One
I
can
think it
find
was
out.
there.
So the war dance was utilizing all these attack and defense technique, and it was already a choreographed pieces, but not going beyond the attack and defense. They didn't have any other team except to have the two parties which were demonstrating each other, and at the end simulating a war attack, but which was choreographed. So actually, when we call choreograph, I can see that the Paiko, I mean, I can tell you that on 26, in Rabindra Bharati University, Tarun Pradhan is doing a Chhau dance workshop.
Yes.
So there he has invited me for a day on 26 for 2 hours. So I will give 1 hour. I will interact with the physically with the students, because to see the utilization of these movements for further work in theater or something. And 1 hour I'll actually present this lecture in which I'll show the video of these different passages. I'll show the Paiko, their basic steps, some of the Danda as the size, then I'll show the Parikhanda, then I'll show the war dance a little bit, because war dance is still there in the repertoire of the Chhau dance nowadays. Of course, a little bit modified, but it is still there. And also some modern utilization of this in some of the choreography by Chandralekha and by me and by me. So, so this lecture will be there on the 26th in case. So this is now coming to my conclusion before. Now at present, I am still going more deep into the Tandava aspect, because I've got a grant from agency on the project which I've submitted, which actually it says Tandava trails in Odisha performing arts. So I am approaching beyond Paiko and Chhau. I am approaching other forms which are the Dandanacha, Sai Jatra, and Pralat Nataka.
All from Odisha.
All from Odisha. Danda, it is very much in all the mostly all the states of Odisha. It is performed only in the before Panasankranti, between March and April. Is a ritual which has a lot of physicality in it, and all male. These are all forms performed by male. No female is involved in any of this. Sai Jatra is very much Puri localized, and it is only during the Ramlila, the Ramanovami period. It is all the before Ramanovami for 14 days. Different episodes, again portrayed by and that is typical of Puri culture, not outside Puri. And Prahlad Nataka, which is a very strong drama form, theater dance form from Ganjam, from South Orissa, which is all, after 45 years of Orissa, I'm discovering South Orissa. It's incredible. It's so rich that it needs another lifetime. I'm not able to do it this time. So, because certain things are actually, some of them are highlighted like anything, and some of them are not neglected. So, but they are, so Paiko are almost finishing. Many forms, this because the ritual, the one which are linked to the rituals are surviving, like Danda and Sai Jatra, because of the meaning. I mean the ritual. So it is part of the calendar of the. But some other which are not. Prahlad Nataka is also there, but many of the old guru who are doing the famous Narasimha and Hiranyakashipu. Hiranyakashipu is the main, so god. So
that's the main story.
Main story. It is one story. So, but the Tandava aspect, the vigor of the steps of the body movement which are there in these forms is incredible. So my research is now on that. And that is in course, so it will come out. So this is yeah, this is what I wanted to say.
Workshop.
No, the workshop will not cover all this, but yeah, I mean, how I will Odissi and Chhau, how from the Bhumi Chari of the Odissi we go to the Akasiki Chari of the Chhau. So starting from the same body posture, how you can cover the space in different way, and how the movement becomes the Chhau, which it goes like this. So this is the level, and this is the way of putting down. I'm still this side. Then I shift this. So here, then there's a seed, and here doesn't give the height. Okay, but how the two things shift from one to another? So all these small details between the Lasya and the Tandava, which were the chin. This. These are all the details which gives it. So this is what we will work out, and we'll learn a little bit of the Odissi, a little bit of the Chhau, and then we'll see what we can develop out of that. So this is. So now,
You have spoken about Chhau, and the items that you're speaking about, there are more items also, like now they have birds and all kinds of items are there, where you need little bit of bhava also. So do you have any idea when this bhava part came? Because you only showed about you have only told us about the dance part, but nothing about the bhava. So why I'm asking you this is, you mentioned the year 1912 when a group came to show the dance form to Kolkata, Calcutta at that time. And I don't know how far my knowledge is correct, because my knowledge says that a group had come to perform in Jagadish Chandra Bose's premises, whether it was inside the house or outside, because those days premises were huge, and also he was a big man, well-known man. And among the audience there was Rabindranath Tagore. And after he had, after everything was over, and the king wanted the opinion, the poet being poet, he said that your dance has everything, but it doesn't have bhava. And it was then that these dances were created. Is my knowledge right or wrong? I don't know.
I don't know, this is a very interesting element.
And after that, the other dances were created in order to introduce bhava into it.
Yeah.
What are the other dances that you have in Chhau? You have Suri, moon.
Kirat Arjun, yeah. Then Jatayu, that bird is there. Then Kirat Arjun, Shiva Tandava.
So it all came later.
All came later. These are all.
So I think, I don't know, these young people should try and find
There
out.
was another group also which came from Saraikala, which was under Sudendra Singh Dev.
But he had seen this, the king that she's
Sudendra
talking about.
Narayan Singh Dev.
No, but this is, what did you say?
Ramchandra Panjabi.
Bhanjadev, he was there. And Rabindranath Tagore had seen it only once. So I don't know whether what you are saying
to
or
check my
whether
notes
she's-
also.
So this is, and all those nrityas, the other solo dances came later. Now my second question to you is, you have done so much in Chhau. Have you written, and you're saying that the gurus are now, it is almost going extinct. Have you written a book on it?
Okay, so the first question is very interesting. When we learned the Chhau, in fact, which in Odissi it's part of the when you learn any item which is not the pure dance, the abhinaya, naturally the face and the expression is part of the whatever you are doing with the rest of the body. But in Chhau, no. So in Chhau, the bhav actually it is in the entire body.
Entire body.
Yeah.
So as it is in Odissi, pure dance.
Pure dance. And they, of course, if you talk about the Seraikela, there is no change in the face because the mask is there, but the inclination of the
Face.
inclination of
the
the
head.
movement of the head, it
Neck.
goes according to the posture and it gives that the love.
Yes.
And also
And
if
the
you
freedom.
yeah, and
Freedom.
if you do like this, or if you change, or if you up, so these are the possibility which you are doing with the mask, but you cannot do anything with the face if you have the mask. But in Chhau, but when I choreograph with the Chhau, suppose I'm showing the movement. There is one movement which is the dheu. So the dheu which you learned is a technique. You have sword and shield, and it is of the cup. This is contraction, and is a dheu of the torso. This and here you are seeing that. And this pushing up, and then contraction. When you move, and here pushing. Okay, so you're learning like this. Then I did my composition in Eco and Narcissus, which I described. So at a certain point, I had to escape from the sound. The story goes that my interpretation of Eco and Narcissus was movement and sound. It was not Eco, the girl, and Narcissus, the boy. So the boy was the movement, which wanted to escape from the vibration which he was creating, which was the Eco. But by escaping was creating even more movement, more sound. So at a certain point, he wants to escape from this sound. So he has only one possibility. It was a long line at the end of which there is a pool, and he sees himself in the water, and he realizes that actually he falls in love with himself, because Eco is in the story. Eco is because she has spurned him, so he is giving a curse that because you will also fall in love with somebody whom you will never be able to get the way you don't react to us. So at a certain point, so I would. I'm doing the same thing, but I want to escape from this. I don't want to hear anymore. Again, I'm hearing. Again, so it is natural at this point that I cannot do this just like this.
Yeah.
So at this point, if intention is there, the intention comes from the body and reflects on the face. So you don't learn the face before. So this is so so the Chhau is interesting because of that, because doesn't impose on you too much in the beginning. It gives you the grammar, which is very codified. Means you can't imagine the codification which is there in the Chhau, in Mayurbhanj Chhau. I'm surprised. Up to now, this is not so well codified. We are still teaching different things in different schools.
this is 6 topica, 36 opli, 108 populi. How many type of hana? How many type of it's how many type of brahmari? It's all very precise, and but after that you work on it. So you can learn the items, of course, but it's not only the items which, how many items you can do in Chhau. Every item you have to change the costume, so it is not like an Odissi that you can do 4 items in 1.5 hours. So it's more a tool which you have for that. So there it is according the expression. So it is not in the beginning, but it is coming when you.
But maybe when they are doing the war dance and all that, as they did, in that there wasn't.
No, the war dance, maybe it was just, even now if you see the war dancer, then there is not much expression in that.
But those
It's
like-
only the movement. But even in the other items which, yeah, actually it's more theatrically, it's more the full body. And maybe it was also what I was impressed when I saw the first movement of birds that she was doing.
Yeah,
No, but they had
that came later.
That was more, much later.
much,
That came
much
later. And what you choreographed that Narcissus and Pico,
Yeah,
that is also
coming
much later.
But it comes from there. So it comes from there. And also the what we
It has movements and power, what you think.
yeah, naturally. Yeah.
But then in the beginning, when
In the beginning, maybe it was more focus focus on that. So this is quite interesting. I didn't know about this Rabindranath Tagore.
It was always a martial art form which evolved actually.
Yeah, if you see the Paiko also with the film which I have, when they do all these kind of things, and actually it is so concentrated. You have to be so concentrated because they were using real sword and it's not also the sticks were. If you just miss the concentration one moment, you will get it. So and very fast they were tum 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 tum. So it is not possible also to have the face separated from the rest.
you have not already written a book.
The book, the book is there. I have written books. I have written one full book in traditional martial art of Odisha, which is all the detailed grammar of each village which I have visited, and then that is by Subi publication. And then I read the second book on traditional martial art of India, in which I have few chapters in the beginning on Kerala, Kalalay, Manipuri, there is Punjabi, and Tamil Nadu, and the last portion on the Paiko. So these 2 books are on the martial arts.
How can we get that book?
Is there in Amazon?
Does it need?
This traditional martial art of Odisha is one, and the other is traditional martial art. Traditional martial art of India.
And what about all the data that was collected by the research? Do they exist still?
All the data are with me.
They are with you.
Yeah, they are with me. Now, recently, I met, because the BJP now, they want to do something which the BJP didn't do. So Chupanayak has been now long ago, but in between, Navin was not able to renew this, renovate this. So maybe the chief secretary is interested. So let's see. I was discussing with him just 1 month ago, and I was telling him because there was a project to open up again the something on Paiko, and then it got somehow I don't know if it is still on or not. So I went to talk to him. And he said that, yeah, let us start. He was interested. Let us start from a small scale. You will be, because I said, if you start, I have all this data which are important. So I wanted to collaborate. I mean, I wanted to give it. Why should I? So let's see, maybe.
Because it's very interesting because at the times when this martial art forms were in existence, it was not Odisha, it was a greater Bengal.
Yeah.
And the lineage goes so well fed with us also here, what we have here, because we have a strong Chhau presence in Purulia as well, which is very different from what's there in Odisha.
Yeah.
So when you join this threads, you come to know that this was the original form, which again, as Tapati said, was the Bhava was added later on, and then it started developing because it was more martial art, and it later came into the main fold from being ritualistic to being entertaining, because it became a form, and there were communities which actually practiced those arts and entertained people to live. They had a livelihood out of it. So that was how it
Women was
changed.
very important.
Yeah, and that actually changed that forms as we come to know from various books, from reports, that how it's changed, and it's even today it's changing.
Yeah, of course.
Even in the last 5 years,
It is inevitable.
yeah, it is changing according to how the people are reacting to it. So preserving that form is very different than what the form actually is here today.
About the change, actually, there is now the few Paiko which are there are a sort of very more evolved, more intellectually and also digitally prompting, these things. But they are a set type of performance which is very commercialized, and they have to adopt certain things because they have to do a proscenium stage, and they have to have some music which was not there, so they put this kind of music that doesn't have anything to do with what they're doing, but it is because a performance in a festival or in you have to have the music. So they have to adopt this kind of things which have still gone very far from what if certain guidance would have been there, they could have developed in a way without killing the real flavor which was there in the. Now it has become very commercialized. Means the same they are not evolving, the same numbers are there, and but maybe they are a little more disciplined in entering and exit from the stage and having a serial of things what to do next. But it's dead. I mean, it's not. It doesn't give a. So I feel bad because actually from there things could have been evolved to the present situation. But keeping it, it's like Gotipo. Also Gotipo, I feel that they've lost what their spirit, the very sense, the very flavor they had. So and now, yeah, they've seen it yesterday. It was there in Kurukshetra where I was performing after us. I mean, I said, oh God, yeah, the pyramid and the acrobatic is there, which get the clapping, and but nothing else. Whatever they've done of the rest of the things is so pathetic. So, Ameoria, so there's something patriotic like that.
If you look from my, when I was, for a paper when I was writing, so there are even Chhau and the the Paika forms. If you look at the Chandan Kiari side, that it's a completely different kind of Chandan Kiari side towards Bokaro and that area.
Okay.
So there it's called Chhau today. That's also called Chhau.
The Puruli is from Bengal.
It's the Bokaro belt.
Paiko. In Bengali, I think we call it Pai.
It's said. That's the reason I'm saying it.
Paikali, it was also called Paikali, yeah. There were limits of, no? There were one.
Pai, that
The
is not
kings
surviving now.
always maintained the Pai group for fighting kings and feudal lords to protect them.
Jharkhand area.
So according to me, like we classical dancers have a lot to learn from this form.
So
A lot. And the discipline and the kind of training that they are going through in this martial art form is incredible. And we have really lost that energy that they put, that enthusiasm and energy that only is just enough to learn from them. So, and actually in the Odissi also, all these, the Banda and all these things, acrobatic were there. In Puri, there were, in the Akhara, everything was exercised together. There was no division. Even the Mahari Guru was there to teach to the Akarapila, and in the same place they were training for the Sai Jatra, and so the Sai Jatra is more masculine, the Gotipa were masculine, and the Gotipa were boys, but it was two different forms, but it was in the same Akara where it's called Jagagara. So this division was not there. So now slowly, then after that, slowly it became, so all the Bhanda Nutya and all the acrobatic which was there, it was part of the Odissi training, then it has been discarded very soon. Yeah.
Since you told about the pike or that part, and this, you have said that in Bengal we have a pike, there is another form which was similar to this. Since you told that choke is martial art, martialistic, it's called Rai Beshi. It's Rai Beshi.
That's
It's similar.
developed
As the soldiers, when they used to go to war, they needed something after that hard work, after sundown. So it was kind of a dance and also agility practice and that. I don't know what they do it now.
Privation was
That
primitively
was
more.
developed by Guru Sadai.
Yes,
And it was with
Tarun
sticks.
Pradhan is
Yeah, it practices that.
It was with sticks.
Yeah, with sticks.
Right, everything. And since ma'am mentioned Tagore has a autobiography. It's called Chhelebela. He wrote it when he was 80 or at the end of his life. It was about his childhood. There he specifically mentions that when I was young, I saw my brothers and my father bringing pikes to our house for such performances.
Yes.
With lanterns and everything tied on their sticks, they used to perform. And very funnily, Tagore says that I was so young, I wanted to see, but my elders, they used to say, no, when you grow up, then I'll see. So it's very unfair for a child. That's what Tagore writes. But it is mentioned that they are brought.
Okay, very interesting. Thank you. Thank you.
Was a
Sir, I have a question. That is, it is interesting that you have practiced Commedia dell'arte, and Commedia dell'arte has specificity of characters like Dottori, Pantolini, and they also have specificity of mask. The moment you wear a mask, you have to perform as Pantolini or as Zanni or whatever. Maybe
Kino.
yes. And similarly, when you're talking about the masks of Saraikela like Ratri or Chandrama, the moment the mask is giving a psychophysicality. So do you think that, do you experience any kind of like, this is growing up in Italy, this is growing up in India, the Odissi region. So do you think that in the actor's body there is any kind of similarity which is growing between these two forms that you have practiced?
Commedia
dell'arte and Saraikela mask.
Saraikela mask. Yeah, one can try to research. I mean to not only see both, but also to learn both and find out what kind of. See, the best way to find out is to learn it on your body. So there will be a possibility for people who are interested, especially people of theatre and all these things, to go through a workshop of Commedia dell'arte. Invite somebody. If you are interested, I can suggest who can come and try yourself one of the characters of the Commedia dell'arte, and then do a try in the Serendipity Chhau, and so you find out the answer to your question. Unless it has been tried on a body, it's very different. It's difficult to know. But what Grotowski and the Third Theatre was doing, it was to take inspiration from many of the exercises from the Eastern Theatre. So, but not performing those. It was not to, if you see a performance of Prince Constante or of his actor, of his masterpiece of Grotowski, you don't find any
Similarity with these art forms.
No influences.
there are no influences at all. That is the
It just
Yeah.
consecutively.
It was
Yeah.
the ability was actually
it
learn
was a
all,
laboratory form.
but be free.
Be free, yeah. So that is the thing. So, but even for this, it is you have to go through. So then you discard whatever, or you keep whatever the essence or something. So that could be a good, in fact, a good type of workshop to be organized for people who are interested to work with mask. So one of the Commedia dell'arte. I don't know if anybody, maybe the Italian consul or ambassador or something, they can arrange for somebody to come for Commedia dell'arte. because it is in Italy.
It's
It is
inside.
all in Italy. And there are people whom I know, one group who works extensively on all the character, each character. They work so much research on those characters. So there would be, you can choose one of these character and have a seminar, a workshop on them with them. And I'm sure there will be similarities. If you physicality, if they jump, what kind of movement you are doing, what kind of inclination of the mask, you will find, oh, this is also the same. I mean, you can discover that by doing it.
And mask, my experience of mask, first time in my life, was I can't breathe, I can't see.
That is
So there was nothing else except.
Yeah, this was very. I learned the Mayur
Mayur.
dance from Saraikela. Then
Oh, that Mayura, yeah.
Yeah, that
Ah.
yeah, I left. I still have the things, but it is a small hole here.
Yeah.
Yes, this is it.
Too small.
This is it.
So
can't
if you
see
don't
anything
move
out
the,
of that.
you have to
And you're
move the
just
head.
hearing
Otherwise
your-
you don't see. You don't,
You're just hearing your breath. And that also my first one was Radha, which was very simple. When I first did.
Which one is it?
Radha Krishna.
Oh, Radha.
With Bhumikeshwar.
Yeah. I learned in Mayur, yeah. Yeah, that's why I left it, because I felt that it was too much Russia. So I had already the Odissi, so I preferred the Mayur.
Practice it. So by then I was doing it for my contemporary. So by the
How do you define Chhau and Odissi? Chhau is coming from the soil, absolutely, right from the soil. But Odissi is a kind of, I think, reconstructed dance form. That's my understanding. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, it's not a very. So Odissi, you find all the sculpture which are from.
That's what I said. They have reconstructed it from sculpture, from Gosipur,
So
from
the-
Mahari, but it's not as if it was there already.
We don't know the way it was there,
Yes.
but it was there.
It-
Whereas
yes.
Chhau is much more recent.
No, Chhau is not recent.
No, recent in the way we are knowing now is from the Ramchandra Banji
That is
period,
because
where
it has to evolve. That's how it has
The
evolved.
Paiko were there, but the Chhau is in a dance form. It is done by the Mayurvanshi, the rulers from that. So they say 1780s.
As long as war was there, which was there right from the beginning of time.
Yeah, but
There was this, whether we call it Chhau or whatever.
No,
name we call
then it is the same, because here we don't know, it was in the martial art form, and here it was in the Mahari or something form, which we don't know how it was. So we know a little bit from the last Mahari, which were there still alive up to the 50s.
What was the last one?
Pashmani was the last, Shashimani was the before
Yeah,
that.
I see
but,
one of them.
But the person with whom I was in touch was Mukherjee and Lakshmi Priya. So Mukherjee was not dancing anymore when I met her in the 81, 82, I did research with her. Kokila Prabha was still going to the temple to sing. Dance had already finished the last, probably 1940. So, but whatever they demonstrated a little bit, Shashimani was demonstrating that we can make out a little bit the mudras and the expression, a little bit footwork, not much she should demonstrate. But something little bit was there, but what it was before from the records which we have, it was much more. So both of them have evolved, had a form before, which is no more the present one. So Odissi was reconstructed almost totally, we can say.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say.
We can say, but it was also reconstructed out of things which was there. So the different guru had even the Prasadas had got to Chhau. He lived in Baripada, in the modern theatre in Baripada. He was there. Even Pankaj Babu. Pankaj Babu doesn't have only the influence of Mahari. He was there with the Babu in Baripada for quite a long time. And and then both of them were in the theatre, the Annapurna theatre. he also got influence from the Gotipura, from the Raslila, so all these influences were there. So it is not that it was a full cut. There were these
Actually, from certain things.
and then the creativity of these three gurus which we mentioned, which they have gone beyond. And the recognition which has been given, and then the fact that after independence we needed an identity that now they call us.
That was more of a nationalistic. No,
Yeah.
Odissi was not so much of a nationalistic movement as some of the other dance.
No, but still.
But it came later
Yeah,
for a
it
national
came later,
identity.
but still they were freezing. Not freezing. They wanted to be recognized as a classical. So they did all whatever they could. So that motivation was there.
I have a very different question.
Yeah.
You have a long journey starting from theatre, which is your native theatre as well, then comes into Toski, and then you're coming to India Kathakali, then Odissi, and then Chhau. So when after learning, going through a phase of learning, going through a phase of practice and contemplation, because I personally believe that when you learn, you recreate, because the creation is already there. You recreate in a way, and that's your contribution personally as an artist to the art fraternity. So when you're doing this, now times are a bit different. The way people perceive dance and the way people know about dance is very different, because there's a huge, I would say there's a huge lack of knowledge first of all. Because what is prevalent might not be true, and what is true might not be what is prevalent. That is something which I almost find everywhere when people have lesser in participation in our core culture. So when you're actually creating a production, the one that you have done recently, when you're creating such productions, how much of all these aspects do you blend in to do something which is creative as well as more theatrical or understanding? How much of theatre comes into it and how much of dance comes into it? Because Chhau, if I consider it as a martial dance form, and Odissi being there, while in presentation, how much of it becomes more theatrical in terms?
Okay, so for theatrical, what you mean? Some narration?
No, I'm telling it not always narration, because the presentation, the way you're presenting some aspect of a story. It's not really the classical dance form or the Chhau format of it. So when you're blending in things, how do you blend in terms of the presentation today for
the modern stage?
What are the aspects that you blend in? How do you break them? How do you reconstruct them?
I don't know if I have that question in mind when. Usually I start from some other point. I start from a theme something which affected me, and my way of reacting to that, or to express or either to give a message or express my opinion, or to react to this kind of theme which can be from any contemporary things which affects me, like the refugee. The theme of refugee, on which I created, or these three people, these two women, which was paraded naked from Manipur last year in May. So these things, on this I start to create. So and what I have in my so the form in which I created is okay. It's Odissi, but it's not limited to whatever whatever I learned, and maybe the theme and the exposition, and it requires something more. So I've never been too much too much afraid to utilize things.
Adhere to its
Because the idea is what guides. So the idea, the intention is what guides.
So the first things, either I have to make a structure and I have to consult and to make a text out of it, or I don't make a text, it's just a visual and musical things or whatever. So but that is what it is important. So what I utilize, also props or not props, it's depending on that intention which I want to, like for Siddhartha, which was based on Hermanes' book, which was a prose. So from prose, Hermanes in English. I had to come to Odissi. So there I used the Malakamba. Not the Chhau, the Malakamba, the contortion on the pole. Because through that it was to show the interior struggle and the interior of the protagonist of the Siddhartha. Everybody knows Hermanes' book, I suppose. So it is quite so this thing with his crisis is internal turmoil which is he was going through. So I visualize it through the things which are unusual. And at the beginning I use a big sheet of plastic, a huge one, and because Siddhartha has already it is a feedback to the story so he's already thrown himself in the water, and the boatman is rescuing him from the water. So this water is shown by this big plastic on the stage with people down, and I have a long pole with a small lamp here like this, which I am going, and you see these waves. So these are props. There is a cage, there is a bamboo, there is a bird cage also, because in Siddhartha it is there in his. So this become maybe more theatrical, but because the topic it was demanding that. So not that I use, like in the last one in Sutta, which is on in the training, in the loom, working on the loom, taking the rhythm from the waving. There is things on the stage with the sari which is rolled like this, and at the end the lyrics goes and say, these girls, they have tried the entire life, and the lyrics says at the end that, okay, oh friend, now my dress is all there's all dago up there, and the birds of life is going to finish, and the dress is gone and all these things. So but please, at the end of my life, you drap me with the same sari which I have read. So the girls goes and pull down that sari from behind. So these are things which are required. So there is not a single way of going. It's depending from idea which.
It is, because there is one thing which is very important, is that as an artist, when you present something, the audience or the practitioners doesn't come to know that there's a huge amount of other practices that you have gone through. So when you're doing something, they might say, okay, that looks a little theatrical, but there's a little of Odissi here. But your study of Odissi, because it's very important in practice, what you do, practice is something which enables you to reconstruct. If you don't have that practice, you wouldn't have even imagined to reconstruct. So that is very important, as I say. And the most important part, as you said, is coming to know about you, is historically preserving the amount of knowledge that you are getting. That is also another thing which I always say to everyone around, that whatever you learn, and if there is one point of interest that has made an artist because people like you and Choudhurie, they are people like them because they know how to preserve what they have learned throughout their life, and that's very important. And the most important part is the intent to rediscover, to where it's coming from. Where's the source of this question? Where's the source? And running after that is very important. And then all these things actually matter, because if you do 100 workshops or learn a form, at the end of the day you will be just practicing the same thing over and over and over again, and that won't lead to anything. That won't lead to anything but the practice. Yeah, that would be a pity. I think that the best is the most important part for an artist.
Yeah, in fact, when I teach Guruji item, I've written down everything which I learned from him, every detail of all. And if I always tell, if there is fire in my house and ask me, only one thing you can take to save. I'll take my notebooks of
Wow.
result. That is for sure. I don't think about why I want to save. And when I teach, even now, if I know the title very well, I go and consult so that at the end, if some girl says, no, you told it was done with Skunchi. Moment, wait a moment. So there is a reference point here. So if I teach that item, because I consider those already history. It is not only the old one of the pipe, this is also history of Guruji. Whatever he did, these are historic bricks. So my compositions are coming later, but these are, so I want to preserve as they are being created.
So you know what to take away from our housing. Priyadashini, you go there very often. So please drop it.
No, it's half Italian, half English.
So it is
Yeah.
Going to be
Yeah,
one.
we think that we will
Another
just-
last one.
Ma'am, with my Veena ma'am's and Tamal's permission and with your permission, I would just like to add something to Tapati ma'am's contribution. You told that Odissi was reconstructed because Chhau came from the soil. The actual history of Odissi in Abhinaya Chandrika, it states it was created by Shiva, then Ganesha, then the gopis, and ultimately comes a series of acharyas, Kumaracharya, Vikatacharya. All of them could have been fictional. Only one king who learned this is, we find historical evidence, is Rantideva. And Odissi was there. The name Odissi wasn't there. It was Odra Magadhi, as far as we have
That's
read.
the eastern part of India.
Yes.
No, it was not Odra sorry. In Abhinaya Chandrika, it is Odra Gandharva Nitya. You should read properly before speaking. Okay, don't speak nonsense, sorry. It is comes under the Odra region, but in Abhinaya Chandrika, it is Odra Gandharva. And when any form is connected to Shiva or something, means what they are, connecting to show the anaditva of performing arts.
lineage.
It is not created by someone, it is anadit, it is coming down generation after generation, centuries after centuries. So it's a transcendental approach of Indian art. So you please study.
So I think we have
not reconstructed from it is evolving from past
Yeah.
to
No,
present.
but in the middle there's a gap. That practice is not seen.
I think I just beg to interfere, sorry.
No,
Sometimes time runs before our thoughts. So we should learn that when our thoughts will match at the time.
Yes.
Am I clear?
No, that is,
So-
what I can say is that you are pretty young now. You
Yeah.
realize almost when, like, I'm middle aged now, you realize that what happens and there is nothing, see, a set of things were created.
Everything is creative.
Everything
Everything is
is
creative.
We never do
And
anything.
those are records.
Everything is a documentation. It
Yes.
is not scam.
The world was created.
Nothing else.
No, nowadays, now the problem, a few people, they like to prove, I don't mention, Tamal knows, that everything is, something like that. But I am actually the field of Sanskrit. But what Sanskrit is teaching us, a different logic. Okay, so if you go to the philosophy portion, the Nyaya, generally nobody learns, it's very difficult. If you go to the Ayurveda, like that way, they're teaching logic. The logic, first to understand body, first to understand mind, first to understand the matter, the Dravya Guna, how it's interconnected. How it's interconnected, and each and every time human minds is changing. In the Buddhist period, if we take, after the Vedic period, if you study the Buddhist study, it's totally opposite. It's totally opposing the whole system of Veda. But how? It is not they're fighting. They have taken up a different point, okay, and they start to speak. The main thing was in the Buddhist philosophy, the shunyata, the madhyamik. Everything is relative consciousness in this world.
And everything is scientific.
Everything is relative like that. If you have to dance, if your right leg is, left leg is not there, how can you lift the right? So all the Buddha Dakini dancing like this way means all the Dakinis represents a relative consciousness in the world. So everything is created, everything is based on relative consciousness. Nothing is ultimate and nothing is authentic. It's changed. If today something is authentic, after 10 years is not authentic.
Yes.
Okay, if today something is scientific, after 5 years we say it's not scientific. Correct or not?
It is over, everything.
Yes, it's a continuous flow. It is a continuous flow of life.
Just to conclude, I will just give one sentence that I have interviewed many people for the Guruji's book, for writing the Guruji, the book which I wrote on Guruji, The Making of a Guru. And so many people were telling, I was the first to do this, I was the first to do that. The only person who never told me that he was the first to do anything was Guruji.
Very good.
Every time he was acknowledging that before he was just a flow. It was just
Yes, and art, whatever, it's a flow of life, we believe. In our institution, everything. Like in my institution, the rule says, okay, you learn Natya Shastra, though I don't teach my student. But you should know the other knowledge. Okay, that Rudraloop can explain.
Yeah, we were
Okay,
talking
Rudraloop can explain that what we teach actually here. My teaching process is not to copy me. To understand how you are demonstrating, please you understand the fact. And then you go. Okay, because you have to realize, if you copy, then your brain is a very bad replica according to me. And it is the wastage. Please waste box में इसको फेंक दो. इसको एकदम लेकर waste box में फेंक दो.
Yeah.
Okay. So चलो हाँ
I
you
think that
conclude.
we conclude, actually it's not a conclusion, it's a beginning to a future workshop that we will be conducting with
So when?
In February. I have already spoken with her all this thing. February, Saturday, Sunday. So February, I'm waiting, for generally, for the Bharatarangam festival. They have not, given the date. And also the award festival will happen, Sangeet Natak Academy, the award festival.
Okay.
So I'm waiting for the 2 dates. Okay. So, soon I get the date, I will organize it Saturday, Sunday. Okay.
So it will be February.
It will be February.
Yeah,
Yes.
So-
Yeah, just keep it as end like that because somehow we will manage. Because this plan to finish it in the February. Okay, it is going to happen 3 hours.
So, Pile,
Yes. I think all you should join.
We thank all of you for coming here, and we, as sir said, we expect all of us should be there in the workshop. And
Because Shashakarji also taught Chhau, but when the person change, each person has a different realization.
Yeah.
Each person has a different view. So you must, understand and learn that. It is not that, I have seen it's a problem. Like, if you're a Bharatanatyam dancer and if, some organizers are organizing a Odissi workshop, they don't like to go. Oh, it is irrelevant for me. No, you have to understand the viewpoint, the experience, how she experienced dance, not that Odissi. Why you are taking? Because whatever you are learning, style is important. Without style, you cannot learn anything. That is the only way.
yeah, so I appreciate what Suman is gone.
No,
Suman.
Because she is Manipuri, but she is organizing things from other styles.
Yes.
I was telling that I was appreciating that you are of a style, but you organize other style because she was telling about something about that topic. Yeah, tell me. Is over?
Yeah. We thank, honestly, we thank Tamal and Tapati ma'am. And there is, thank you is a very frugal word nowadays, used too much. So I won't do that. I'll wait for your workshop. We all will. And thank you all of you for coming.
And now, Ileana ji, he will coordinate with you. Okay, now you knows him. Okay, regarding workshop and everything. Now he will coordinate with you. Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. You all go to the
So,